How are you guys doing? Today is Sunday, May 8th, 2022. Happy birthday, Eric, my little brother. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review yesterday's Elite matchups and performances from Saturday, May 7th. And of course, we're going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through this world of sports one day at a time, taking a quick step back and looking at where we are in the calendar year. In the NBA playoffs, there are still 8 teams left competing for the title. As we are starting to get into the later stages of this round, teams are starting to feel the pressure as teams are now a couple games away from being eliminated. The same is true with the first round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. There are 6 teams still competing as, of course, the pressure is setting in, as this time next week we will probably have some teams eliminated. Taking a look at what's going on with baseball, there were a couple double headers from yesterday, and of course we are watching the MLB season take its momentum. It's taking its stride. Taking a look at what's going on with soccer, we're in the middle of a very action-packed, very tense weekend that saw Liverpool draw yesterday. So now England could be blown wide open today, but I'll get into it in a second. Starting off first with what's going on in the NBA, there were 2 playoff basketball games yesterday, as we are, of course, in the second round of this 2022 NBA playoff bracket. The first of these 2 games happened in Milwaukee as the defending NBA champs and 3-seed Milwaukee Bucks hosted the 2-seed Boston Celtics. Coming into this game, the series was tied at 1. The Bucks won game 1 in Boston by 12 before the Celtics won game 2 by 23. In game 3, the Bucks would beat the Celtics 103-101. After the Celtics they outscored the Bucks by 11 in the fourth quarter to try to come back, but it wasn't enough. In the end, it was the third quarter in which the Bucks doubled the Celtics' output, outscoring them 34-17, which would give them the advantage and eventually the win. On the losing end of this matchup, the 2-seed Boston Celtics were led in scoring by their starting shooting guard out of Cal, Jaylen Brown. He finished with 27 points, 12 rebounds, and he would go on to do all this in 40 minutes as he shot 8 for 16 from the field, and he made 10 of his 11 free throws on the night. Their starting center out of Florida, Al Horford, finished with 22 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks in 39 minutes. Horford shot 9 for 17 from the field and 4 for 7 from 3. Their point guard off the bench, Derek White, would go on to finish with 14 points in 21 minutes. Their elite starting small forward, Jason Tatum, finished with 10 points, 3 assists, and 4 blocks in 41 minutes. He shot 4 for 19 from the field and 2 for 3 from the foul line. Their starting center, Robert Williams III, finished with 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 blocks in 23 minutes. And on the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Milwaukee Bucks were led in scoring by their elite starting power forward, Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Greek Freak finished with 42 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks in 39 minutes. The NBA's reigning NBA Finals MVP and the youngest member of the NBA's All 75 team. 75th anniversary team, will go on to shoot 16 for 30 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, and he shot 9 for 12 from the free throw line. Their starting point guard out of UCLA, Drew Holiday, finished with 25 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals in 43 minutes. He shot 11 for 30 from the field. Their starting center, Brook Lopez, finished with 13 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals, and 5 fouls in 29 minutes. He shot 5 for 10 from the field. He made all 3 of his free throws. Their shooting guard off the bench, Pat Connaughton, had 11 points and 8 rebounds in 33 minutes. With this win, the 3-seed Milwaukee Bucks, the defending champs, now hold a 2-1 series lead over the 2nd-seed Boston Celtics. With this lead, they are now 2 wins away from making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they'd face off against the winner between the Heat and the Sixers, as the Heat currently lead that series 2-1. And on the losing end of this matchup, the Celtics have to win 3 of the next 4 games if they want to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 4 is going to be tomorrow on TNT, as of course many NBA fans will not be able to wait. The second game that took place was in San Francisco, as the 2-seed Memphis Grizzlies traveled to face off against the Golden State Warriors. In the first 2 games in Memphis, the Warriors won game 1 by 1, and then the Grizzlies won game 2 by 5. The Warriors would win game 3 at home by 30. They won it 142 to 112. They won this game by 30 after they outscored the Grizzlies by 9 in the second quarter, 14 in the third quarter, and that was, of course, 23 points by then. And then they outscored the Grizzlies by 9 points. So they outscored them by 32 points after the first quarter because the Grizzlies were up by 2 at the end of the first, and then they went on to lose by 30. On the losing end of this matchup, the second seed Grizzlies were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard out of Murray State, Ja Morant. He finished with 34 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals in 36 minutes. He shot 13 for 21 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and 4 for 5 from the free throw line. Their starting shooting guard, Desmond Bane, finished with 16 points in 30 minutes. He shot 5 for 10 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, and 2 for 3 from the free throw line. Their starting power forward, Jaren Jackson Jr., finished with 15 points and 2 steals in 29 minutes. He shot 4 for 13 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. And then their shooting guard off the bench, DeAnthony Melton, finished with 12 points in 27 minutes. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown and 3-seed Golden State Warriors were led in scoring by their goated starting point guard, as number 30 scored 30. He had 30 points, 2 rebounds, and 6 assists in 35 minutes. The NBA's all-time leader in playoff three-pointers as well as regular season three-pointers, shot 7 for 14 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3, and he made all 14 of his free throws on the night. Their shooting guard off the bench, Jordan Poole, finished with 27 points in 31 minutes as he shot 11 for 17 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and he made both of his free throws. Their elite starting shooting guard, Klay Thompson out of Washington State, finished with 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists in 35 minutes. The 3-time champ shot 8 for 13 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3 as he made his only free throw. The Warriors all-star starting small forward, Andrew Wiggins, finished with 17 points and 2 steals, as well as 3 rebounds in 26 minutes. Wiggins shot 7 for 10 from the field. He made both of his 3-pointers, and he went on to make his only free throw attempt of the night. Their starting power forward, Jonathan Kuminga, finished with 18 points in 18 minutes. Their small forward off the bench, James Toscano Anderson, Otto Porter Jr., went on to finish with 13 points and 2 blocks in 24 minutes. Their all-star power forward, Draymond Green, finished with 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists in 27 minutes. He shot 2 for 3 from the field and shot 1 for 2 from the foul line. With this win, the 3-seed Golden State Warriors are currently leading the series 2-1 over the 2-seed Memphis Grizzlies, as Game 4 will be held in their stadium tomorrow on TNT. The Warriors are 2 wins away from making it to the Western Conference Finals, where they'd face off against either the Phoenix Suns or the Dallas Mavericks. With this loss, the Grizzlies have to win 3 of their next 4 games if they want to advance. But of course, both teams are very well alive coming into today. And looking into what's going on today in the NBA playoffs, we're going to see if these teams can create some separation. Both of the 1-4 matchups are going to see the 4-seed hosting the 1 at 3:30 on ESPN. The Dallas Mavericks are going to host the Phoenix Suns in the American Airlines Center. The Phoenix Suns are currently leading this series 2-1. This is coming after the Mavericks won Game 3 by 9, winning their first game after the Suns won their first 2 games at home. This is a chance for the Mavericks to even up the series, or this is a chance for the Suns to get 1 win away from the Western Conference Finals. And the same is true in Philadelphia, as the 4-seed Sixers host the 1-seed Heat. After the Heat won the first 2 games of the series, the Sixers won Game 3 by 20. This is an opportunity for the Sixers to even up the series, as Joel Embiid is now officially back, and he has a chance to possibly exploit that size mismatch advantage. And then, of course, the Heat, this is a chance for them to win their 3rd game of the series. It would make it a lot tougher for Philadelphia to dig themselves out of the hole that they would be in if they lost. But of course, win or lose, both teams are still alive tonight, just like what's going on in the Western Conference. So that's what's going on in the NBA playoffs. The NHL playoffs is at pretty much the same point in the first round, as there are 16 teams left competing. The first of the the 4 games that happened yesterday happened in the nation's capital, in my city, Washington, D.C., as the Washington Capitals, who entered this playoff picture as the second wild card seed in the East, went on to host the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers came in with the best record in the Atlantic and in the entire East. And coming into this series, the series was tied at 1 after the Capitals won game 1 in Florida. Florida won game 2 in front of their home fans. The Capitals would win game 3 6-1 to take that series lead, as the Florida Panthers actually scored the first goal of the game. TJ Oshie would tie up the game on a power play as they ended the first period tied at 1. But then they would score 6 unanswered goals to win, the fourth of which coming from their all-time great forward Alex Ovechkin. The top star of the game was Ilya Samsonov, Washington's goalie, as he had 29 saves, only allowing 1 goal on the day. Second star of the game went to Washington center Marcus Johansson, as he had 1 goal and an assist. And then the third star of the game went to Washington's defender, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, as he went on to finish with 1 goal. As with this win, the Washington Capitals now lead this series 2-1. They are 2 wins away from making it into the second round. And on the losing end, of course, the Panthers now have to win 3 of their next 4 to do it. The winner of this series will go on to face off against the winner between the Toronto Blue Jays and the defending back-to-back champs Tampa Bay Lightning. Currently, the Toronto Maple Leafs are winning that series 2-1. Taking a look at the second matchup that took place yesterday, the Avalanche would face off against the Nashville Predators, as the Predators were the second wild card seed in the West. The Avalanche entered this matchup as the top seed in the Central Division. And in this matchup, the Avalanche would go into this matchup leading 2-0 after they won game 1 by 5 and game 2 by 1 in front of their hometown fans. They would go on to win in Nashville, and in this 10-game thriller, they would score the first 2 goals of the game. The Nashville Predators would actually tie the game up in the second period, and then after that, the Avalanche would pretty much go on, or would see themselves score their third goal. The Nashville Predators would tie it up at 3, and then from then on out, in the second half of this matchup, it went from 3-3 to 7-3 as the Avalanche scored 4 unanswered goals. The top star in this game went to Gabriel Landeskog, the Colorado's left winger. He had 2 goals and 2 assists on the night. Colorado's second star went to their defender, Kalen McCarr, as he had a hat trick of assists. He had 3 assists on the night. And then their center, Nazem Kadri, had the third star of the game, as he would go on to finish with a goal and an assist. With this win, the Colorado Avalanche are 1 win away from the second round. As of right now, I believe they are the only team that has yet to lose in the playoffs, as they are 1 win away from the second round. And on the losing end, the Nashville Predators have to win their next 4 games, as their next game will be at home tomorrow on ESPN. The winner of this matchup will face off against the winner between the Minnesota Wild and the St. Louis Blues. The Wild currently lead that series 2-1. Taking a look at the third Stanley Cup game from last night, it would take place in Pittsburgh as the 2-3 seeds in the Metropolitan Division faced off. The Penguins would end up beating the Rangers 7-4, and of course we would see a game that would go all the way in to 11 goals from both sides. Going into the third period, the score was tied at 4 after the Penguins would score 3 unanswered in the first period. They were up 4-1. The Rangers would score 3 goals. They outscored the Penguins 3-0 in the second period to tie it up at 4. But then the Penguins would outscore the Rangers 3-0 in the third period in order to win this game, in order to take this series lead after of course they went into this matchup tied at 1. The Penguins' first star of the game will go to their left winger, Danton Heinen, as he had a goal. Their second star went to their center, Evan Rodriguez, as he had 2 goals and an assist. Their third star went to their center, Jeff Carter, as he had 2 goals as well. With this win, the Penguins now hold a 2-1 series lead. They are 2 wins away from making it on to the second round of this tournament. And the Rangers, with this loss, now have to win 3 of their next 4. Game 4 of this matchup is tomorrow in Pittsburgh, as Pittsburgh now has the upper hand. The winner of this matchup will face off against the winner between the Carolina Hurricanes and the top wild card seed in the East, the Boston Bruins. Last but not least, taking a look at the final NHL Stanley Cup game of the night in Dallas. The Dallas Stars, who entered this matchup as the first wild card seed in the West, went on to host the Calgary Flames. Coming into this matchup, the series was tied at 1 after Calgary won Game 1 and the Stars won Game 2. The Stars will win Game 3 4-2 in order to take the series lead as they play their next game in Dallas. The matchup was tied up at 2 at the end of the second period, but the Stars would score 2 unanswered in the third period in order to run away with this matchup. The top star of the game went to Dallas's center, Joe Pavelski. He had 2 goals. Their goalie, Jake Oettinger, finished with 39 saves on the night as he only allowed 2 goals. The third star of the night went to the Stars defender, Miro Heiskanen, as he had 2 assists. With this win, the Stars now hold a 2-1 series lead as Game 4 is going to be in Dallas tomorrow, as it's going to be shown on TBS. They are 2 wins away from making it to the next round, as the Calgary Flames, who entered this matchup as the number 1 seed in the Pacific, now have to win 3 of their next 4 games if they wish to advance to the next round. The winner of this matchup will face off against the winner between the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings, as the Oilers currently lead that series 2-1. With that said, and I already kind of mentioned how these series are looking right now, but I'm just going to give one quick glance over to what's going on today. As today we have 4 Stanley Cup playoff matchups in playoff hockey, as we see a bunch of Game 4s going on. At 7:30 on ESPN in TD Garden, the Boston Bruins, the first wild card seed in the East, are going to host the Carolina Hurricanes, the team who finished with the top seed in the Metropolitan Division. Right now, Carolina leads this series 2-1 after the Bruins were able to pick up their lone win of the series last game, 4-2. This is the Bruins' opportunity to even up the series at 2. This is the Carolina Hurricanes' opportunity to get 1 win away from advancing. Either way, win or loss, both teams are still going to be alive. No team is facing elimination today. At 4:30 on TBS in the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, the St. Louis Blues, the 3 seed in the Central Division, are going to host the 2 seed Minnesota Wild. Minnesota comes into Game 4 leading this series 2-1 after they were able to beat St. Louis last game by 4. Taking a look at the third game that's going to be taking place today at 7 o'clock on TBS, the defending back-to-back champs Tampa Bay Lightning, who entered this matchup as the 3 seed in the Atlantic, as a 3 seed in the Atlantic, are set to host the Toronto Maple Leafs. Right now, Toronto leads this series 2-1. This is Toronto's opportunity to get 1 win away from eliminating the back-to-back champs. And taking a look at the last game of tonight, the Los Angeles Kings, who enter this matchup as the 3 seed in the Pacific, are going to host the 2 seed Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton currently leads this series 2-1 after they were able to win the last 2 games, both of them by 6 goals. So that is what hockey is looking like as we are in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Taking a look at what's going on with baseball, starting off with the double headers from yesterday. I'll start in Cincinnati as the Reds went on to host the Pittsburgh Pirates. They were able to win the first game 9-2 as the game was tied up at 2 after 6. The Pittsburgh Pirates would tie it up off of a single from Ke'Bryan Hayes. The Reds would score 7 unanswered runs in the 8th inning in order to run away with this win, as they would see 3 of them come off of a double from Tyler Naquin. On the losing end of this matchup, the Pirates were led out by their starting pitcher, JT Brubaker. JT Brubaker would allow 2 earned runs off of 3 hits in 5 innings pitched. He struck out 9 batters and walked 2. The loss for the Pirates in Game 1 went to their lead-up relief pitcher, Will Crowe, Will Crowe would allow 4 runs off of 2 hits in the 1.1 innings he pitched. He would finish the 6th and pitch the entire 7th as he walked 2 with his losses 1 and 2. In the Pirates batting lineup, their right fielder Ben Gamel went 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And then their center, Roberto Perez, would end up going 2 for 3 with a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Cincinnati Reds saw the start go to Connor Overton. Overton would allow 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in the 5.1 innings he pitched as he struck out 4. The win would go to the Reds setup relief pitcher Lucas Sims. Sims allowed no earned runs off of 2 hits in the 8 innings he pitched as he struck out 3 and walked 1. With this win, Lucas Sims is 1-0 for the Reds. In the Reds batting lineup, their second baseman Brandon Drury went 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their catcher Tyler Stevenson went 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs and a run. Following this win, the Pirates would go on to even up the doubleheader as they won Game 2, 8-5. They would score 4 runs in the first inning, and after they scored 4 runs in the fourth, the Reds just would not be able to put up enough runs to at least establish a lead in Game 2. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Reds saw the loss go to their starting pitcher, Dauri Moreta. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 2 hits as he wouldn't even make it out the first inning. He would strike out a batter, and with this loss, he's 0-1. In the Reds batting lineup, their third baseman, Brandon Drury, went 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs as he went on to hit his 5th home run of the season, as he would go on to hit 2 doubles as well. Their designated hitter, Mike Moustakas, went 2 for 5 with an RBI. And then on the winning end of this matchup, the Pittsburgh Pirates were led out by their starting pitcher, Mitch Keller. Keller would allow 5 earned runs off of 6 hits in 4.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 3 batters and then walk 3. The win would end up going to the Pirates' first relief pitcher, Heath Hembree. Hembree allowed no earned runs as he finished off the 5th inning. With this win, he's now 2-0. The save went to the Pirates' closer, David Bednar. Bednar allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out 3 batters. He would go on to pick up his 4th save of the season as he would pick up a strikeout for every out that he needed. In the Pirates batting lineup in Game 2, their left fielder Ben Gamel went 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his 2nd home run of the year. Their center fielder Brian Reynolds went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 3rd home run of the year. Their third baseman Key Brian Hayes went 3 for 5 with a run. Their shortstop in this matchup, Diego Castillo, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 2nd home run of the year. And then the Pirates' second baseman, Cole Tucker, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. With this loss and then win, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 11-15. That is currently the 3rd best record in the National League Central. They've only won 3 of their last 10 games. However, they sit 7 games behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. With this win and loss, the Cincinnati Reds are 4-23. That is still the worst record in all of baseball right now. They've lost 9 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 14.5 games behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. They are currently holding on to the worst record in baseball by a pretty sizable margin at this point. But that is where the Reds are right now. Taking a look at the second doubleheader, which actually wasn't that far away, moving through, staying within Ohio, jumping out to Cleveland, the Cleveland Guardians hosted the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays would win Game 1 in Cleveland 8-3 after scoring 4 runs in the 2nd inning, as the Guardians couldn't even score 4 runs for the game. On the losing end of this matchup, or the losing end of Game 1, the loss went to the Cleveland Guardians elite starting pitcher Shane Bieber. The former Cy Young winner allowed 7 earned runs off of 8 hits in the 3.1 innings he pitched. He would walk 3 batters, as with his loss, he's 1-2. In the Guardians batting lineup, their center fielder Miles Straw went 2 for 3 with 2 runs. He was the only player with more than 1 hit in Game 1. On the winning end of this matchup, the Toronto Blue Jays saw the win go to their starting pitcher Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman allowed 1 earned run off of 6 hits in 6.1 innings pitched. He struck out 5 batters and walked 1 before he was pulled in the 7th inning, and with this win, Kevin Gausman is 3-1. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, their center fielder George Springer went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Their designated hitter, Alejandro Kirk, went 3 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their right fielder, Raimel Tapia, went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. And following this win, the Cleveland Guardians would actually even up this doubleheader with an 8-2 win at home. After Toronto scored the first run of the game, the Guardians would score 3 in the first. That would pretty much put them out of reach. Kind of the same story on the other side. On the losing end of this matchup, the Toronto Blue Jays saw the loss go to their starting pitcher, Ross Stripling. Ross Stripling allowed 4 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 4 innings he pitched. He struck out 3 batters and walked 1. With this loss, Ross Stripling is 0-1. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit in Game 2. However, on the winning end of this matchup, the Guardians would see the win go to their starting pitcher, Triston McKenzie. McKenzie would allow 2 earned runs off of 4 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He would strike out 6 batters and walk 2. After him, the Guardians would not allow a hit in the remaining 3 innings of the game. With this win, Triston McKenzie is 2-2. In the Guardians batting lineup, their first baseman, Owen Miller, went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Their right fielder, Franmil Reyes, went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run as he had his 3rd home run of the season. And then their second baseman, Andres Jimenez, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI. With this loss and win, the Cleveland Guardians are 13-14. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central. They've won 6 of their last 10 games as they now sit 3.5 games behind the division leading the Minnesota Twins. And with this win and then loss, the Toronto Blue Jays are 17-12. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East. They've lost 5 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 3 whole games behind the division-leading New York Yankees. Taking a look at the third doubleheader from not far away, the Chicago Cubs went on to host the Dodgers. And out of the 3 doubleheaders, the Dodgers were the only team out of the 6 to win both of their games. They would go on to win the first game 7-0 as they shut the Cubs out behind Clayton Kershaw's amazing pitching. They would go on to see the first run scored in the first inning off of a double from the defending champ, Freddie Freeman. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Cubs saw the loss go to the defending World Series champ, Drew Smyly, who was a starter for the Braves. Smyly would allow 3 runs off of 6 hits in the 4.1 innings he pitched. He struck out 4 batters and walked 2, and with this loss, he's now 1-3. In the Cubs batting lineup, their shortstop Nico Hoerner went 2 for 3. He was the only player on the team to get more than 1 hit. On the winning end of this matchup, the LA Dodgers saw the win go to their goated starting pitcher Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw allowed no earned runs off of 5 hits in the 7 innings he pitched. He struck out 2 batters and walked 1. With this win, Clayton Kershaw is 4-0. In the Dodgers batting lineup, their elite first baseman and reigning champ Freddie Freeman went 3 for 4 with 2 runs. Their elite shortstop Trey Turner went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run, the reigning NL batting champ. Their catcher Austin Barnes went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 3rd home run of the season. And then in Game 2, the Dodgers would end up beating the Cubs 6-2. They would go on to see the Cubs score the first run of this game, but they would take the lead in the 2nd inning after Hanser Alberto tied the game with a walk. Mookie Betts' 3-run double would put the Dodgers out of reach. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Chicago Cubs saw the loss go to their starting pitcher, Daniel Norris. Norris allowed 3 earned runs, as he didn't allow any hits, by the way, in 1.1 innings pitched. He struck out a batter and walked 3. With this loss, he's now 0-2. In the Cubs batting lineup, their designated hitter, Wilson Contreras, went 3 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. He went on to hit his first triple of the year in his 3rd home run, as he was a double shy of the cycle. On the winning end of this matchup, the Los Angeles Dodgers saw the win go to their starting pitcher, Tyler Anderson. Tyler Anderson allowed 2 earned runs off of 4 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He would strike out 7 batters and walk 1. With this win, Tyler Anderson is 3-0 on the year. In the Dodgers batting lineup, their elite right fielder Mookie Betts went 2 for 5 with 5 RBIs and a run. In addition to a double, he would go on to hit his 5th home run of the season. With this win, with these 2 wins, the LA Dodgers are now 18-7. That is the best record in the National League West. They have now won their last 5 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. In addition to holding the best record in the National League, they are tied with the New York Yankees for the best record in all of baseball. Their 5-game winning streak is the longest active winning streak in the National League, and the only teams with longer winning streaks than the Dodgers right now are the Tampa Bay Rays and the Houston Astros. The Dodgers are currently sitting a game and a half ahead of the second place San Diego Padres in their division, as they have just 3 less losses than the Padres, who both have 18 wins. With these losses, the Chicago Cubs are 9-17. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. They have now lost their last 4 games. Their 4-game losing streak is tied with the Philadelphia Phillies for the longest active losing streak in the National League. Right now, the Mariners and the Oakland Athletics are the only teams with longer losing streaks than the Cubs. The Cubs have lost 8 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 9 games behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. Taking a look at what happened in Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins hosted the Oakland Athletics, and the AL Central leaders were able to beat the A's 1-0. The lone run of this game was scored in the 6th inning off of a Jorge Polanco solo home run. Other than that, great pitching from both sides. On the losing end of this matchup, the Oakland Athletics, we see the loss go to their starting pitcher, James Kaprielian. James Kaprielian allowed 1 earned run off of 3 hits in 5.2 innings pitched. He struck out 7 batters and walked 2. With this loss, he's now 0-2. And in the Athletics batting lineup, nobody on their team finished with more than 1 hit. On the winning end of this matchup, the start went to the Twins' Sonny Gray. He allowed no earned runs off of 2 hits in the 4 innings he pitched. He would strike out 7 batters and walk 2. The win would go to the Twins' setup relief pitcher, Griffin Jax. Jax would allow no earned runs off of only 1 hit in the 1.2 innings that he pitched. He would go on to finish off the 6th and pitch the entire 7th innings. He would strike out 2 batters in that span. With this win, he's 2-0. The save went to the Twins' closer, Joan Duran, as he allowed no earned runs in the last 2 innings of the game. He struck out 5 and then would go on to walk 1. With the save, he now has 2. And in the Twins' batting lineup, their second baseman, Jorge Polanco, went 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 3rd home run of the season, as well as a 6th double. With this win, the Minnesota Twins are 17-11. That is the best record in the American League Central. They are currently holding on to what is now the 5th best record. They're tied with the Houston Astros for the 4th best record in the American League as of right now. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. The Twins are sitting 3 games ahead of the second-place Chicago White Sox in their division. With this loss, the Oakland Athletics are 10-17. That is now the worst record in the American League West. They are holding on to the MLB's longest active losing streak, as they have now lost their last 8 games. They've lost 9 of their last 10. They are sitting 7 full games behind the division-leading Los Angeles Angels. And that is where they sit right now. Taking a look at what happened in Houston, the defending American League champs Houston Astros hosted the Detroit Tigers. The Astros would end up beating the Tigers 3-2. The Tigers would score the first 2 runs of the game, but the Astros would take the lead in the bottom of the 8th off of a walk drawn by Kyle Tucker, actually. On the losing end of this matchup, the Detroit Tigers would see the start go to Eduardo Rodriguez. Rodriguez would allow 1 earned run off of 1 hit in 6.2 innings. He struck out 8 batters and would walk 3 as he was pulled in the 7th. The blown save and loss went to Michael Fulmer. This was his first blown save of the year. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 3 hits as he pitched an entire inning and would get pulled in the 8th. He would walk 3 batters. With his loss, he's 1-1. In the Tigers batting lineup, their center fielder in this game, Derek Hill, would end up going 3 for 5. Their elite shortstop, Javier Baez, went 2 for 5 with a run. Their third baseman, Jeimer Candelario, went 2 for 4 as well. With this win, the hometown Houston Astros would see their start go out to Framber Valdez. Valdez allowed 2 earned runs off of 9 hits in 6 innings pitched. He would strike out 7 batters and walk 1. The win would go to the Astros setup relief pitcher Brian Abreu. He allowed no earned runs in the 8th inning as he struck out a batter. With his win, he's now 1-4. The save went to the Astros closer Ryan Presley. Ryan Presley would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he would pick up a strikeout, and with this save, he now has 4. In the Astros batting lineup, their elite second baseman, Jose Altuve, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Altuve hit his 4th home run of the season. He was the only player on the team with more than 1 hit. With this win, the Houston Astros are 17-11. That is the second best record in the American League West. They are tied with the Twins for the 4th best record in the American League. The Astros have now won their last 6 games. They are tied with the Tampa Bay Rays for the longest active winning streak in the major leagues. The Astros have won 8 of their last 10 games. They are sitting half a game behind the division-leading Los Angeles Angels. With this loss, the Detroit Tigers are 8-18. That is the worst record in the American League Central. That is the worst record in the American League as well. That's the second worst record in all of baseball, as only the Cincinnati Reds have a worse record than the Tigers. The Tigers have now lost their last 4 games. They've lost 8 of their last 10. In their division, they are trailing the division-leading Minnesota Twins by 8 games right now. Taking a look at what happened in Fenway in this matchup between the Sox, the Red Sox would host the White Sox. The White Sox would beat the Red Sox 3-1 after the Red Sox scored the first run of the game in the 5th. The White Sox would tie it up in the top of the 9th off of a Leury Garcia sac fly to send it into extras, and then they would outscore the Red Sox 2-0 in that 10th inning in order to run away with it. It would be Jose Abreu's double to give them the lead. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Boston Red Sox would be led out by their starting pitcher, Nick Pivetta. Pivetta allowed no earned runs off of 5 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He struck out 8 batters. The loss would end up going to the Red Sox closer, Matt Barnes. He allowed 2 runs in the last inning of the game as he struck out a batter. With this loss, he's 0-3. In the Red Sox batting lineup, their elite third baseman, Rafael Devers, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the Chicago White Sox saw the start go to Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease allowed 1 earned run off of 4 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He struck out 8 batters and walked 3. The win would end up going to the White Sox setup relief pitcher, Reynaldo Lopez. He allowed no earned runs off of 3 hits as he pitched the 8th and 9th innings as he struck out a batter. With this win, Reynaldo Lopez is 4-0. The save would go to the White Sox elite closer, Liam Hendriks. He allowed no earned runs in the 10th inning as he picked up his 9th save. In the White Sox batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Tim Anderson, went 2 for 4. Their elite first baseman and former American League MVP, Jose Abreu, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their center fielder, Luis Robert, went 2 for 5 with an RBI as well. Their second baseman, Leury Garcia, went 2 for 3 with an RBI. With this win, the Chicago White Sox are 13-13. That is the second best record in the American League Central. They've won their last 5 games. They have the 3rd longest winning streak in the American League, as the Astros and Tampa Bay Rays have longer winning streaks. The Chicago White Sox have won 7 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 3 games behind the division-leading Minnesota Twins right now. With this loss, the Boston Red Sox are 10-18. That is the worst record in the American League East, as they have now lost their last 4 games. They've lost 7 of their last 10 as they sit 9.5 games behind the division-leading New York Yankees. Taking a look at what happened in the Bay Area, the San Francisco Giants hosted the St. Louis Cardinals. The Giants would end up beating the Cardinals 13-7. As the Cardinals scored 7 runs all game, it took only 2 innings for the Giants to score 8 runs. They scored 4 runs in both of the first innings of this matchup. In the first inning, they would see a grand slam from Wilmer Flores, and then, of course, a couple of home runs in the bottom of the second. On the losing end of this matchup, the St. Louis Cardinals saw the loss go to their starting pitcher, Steven Matz. Matz allowed 8 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 2 innings he pitched as he struck out 3 batters, walked 3, and he also gave up 3 home runs. With this loss, Steven Matz is 3-2 on the year. In the Cardinals batting lineup, their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, went 2 for 5 with a run. Their elite third baseman, Nolan Arenado, went 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their designated hitter in this particular matchup, Juan Yepez, would end up going 2 for 5. Their center fielder, Harrison Bader, went 3 for 4 with 2 runs. Their shortstop, Paul DeJong, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. And on the winning end of this matchup, the win went to the Giants' starting pitcher, Logan Webb. He allowed 4 earned runs off of 8 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He struck out 7 batters and walked 2. With this win, Logan Webb is 4-1. In the Giants batting lineup, their shortstop Mauricio Dubon went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 4 runs as he hit his first home run of the year. And then their right fielder Mikey Yastrzemski would go 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are now 15-12. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They've won 3 of their last 10 games, and they sit 4 games behind the division-leading LA Dodgers right now. With this loss, the St. Louis Cardinals are 16-11. That is the 2nd best record in the National League Central, as they've only lost 4 of their last 10. They are sitting 2.5 games behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. Jumping out to Atlanta, I guess the Braves were able to give the Cardinals a little help there. The defending champs hosted the Brewers and were able to pull off a 3-2 win. The Brewers were unable to take a lead in this matchup as the Braves scored the first run in the 5th off of a monster home run from their elite outfielder Ronald Acuna Jr., as now the Braves are starting to pick up momentum. On the losing end of this matchup, the NL Central leading Milwaukee Brewers saw the loss go to their starting pitcher Corbin Burnes. Their all-MLB pitcher from last season would allow two runs off of 6 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He struck out 7 batters and walked 1. With this loss, Corbin Burnes is 1-2. In the Brewers batting lineup, their third baseman Luis Urias would end up going 2 for 4. He was the only player on the team who had more than 1 hit. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown defending champs Atlanta Braves saw the win go to their all-MLB pitcher Max Fried. Max Fried would go on to allow 1 earned run off of 4 hits in the 7 innings he pitched. He struck out 8 batters and walked 1. With this win, Max Fried, the defending champ, is now 4-2. The save went to the Braves' new closer, Kenley Jansen, as he allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 9th inning. He struck out 2 batters. Kenley Jansen, like I said, picked up his 8th save of the year. In the Braves batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Ronald Acuna Jr., went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 2nd home run of the year. Their elite second baseman, Ozzie Albies, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Their catcher, Travis d'Arnaud, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the Atlanta Braves are now 13-16. That is the 3rd best record in the National League East, as they've won 5 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 6.5 games behind the division-leading New York Mets. And with this loss, the Milwaukee Brewers are 19-9. That is the best record in the National League Central, as they and the Mets are tied for the most wins in the National League and in all of baseball right now. The Brewers have only lost 2 of their last 10 games. They are currently sitting 2.5 games ahead of the second-place St. Louis Cardinals in their division. And taking a look at what happened in Phoenix, the Arizona Diamondbacks hosted the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies would end up beating the Diamondbacks 4-1. The Diamondbacks scored the first run of the game in the 8th inning off of a double from Christian Walker. The Rockies would score all 4 of their runs in the top of the 9th, the first of which coming off of a Jonathan Daza single to tie the game, and it will be a Jose Iglesias single to give them the lead. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Arizona Diamondbacks saw the start go to Zach Davies. Davies allowed no earned runs off of 3 hits in the 6.1 innings he pitched. He struck out 6 batters and walked 2. The loss would go to the Diamondbacks' setup relief pitcher Mark Melancon. Mark Melancon would go on to allow 4 runs off of 5 hits in the .2 innings he pitched, as he struck out 1 batter to start out the 9th inning. He would pick up his first blown save of the year, and with this loss, he's now 0-3. In the Diamondbacks batting lineup, their first baseman Christian Walker went 2 for 3 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the Colorado Rockies saw the start go to Kyle Freeland. Freeland allowed no earned runs off of 5 hits as he pitched 6 innings. He struck out 5 batters and walked 2. The win would go to the Rockies setup relief pitcher Alex Colome. He allowed 1 earned run off of 1 hit in the 8th inning as he would walk 3 batters. With this win, he's now 1-0. The save would end up going to the Rockies closer Daniel Bard, as he allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning. He struck out a batter and walked 1, and with this save, he now has 9. In the Rockies batting lineup, their first baseman CJ Cron went 2 for 3. Their third baseman Ryan McMahon went 2 for 4 as well. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are now 16-11. That is the 3rd best record in the National League West. They've won 6 of their last 10 games. They are currently sitting 3 games behind the division-leading Los Angeles Dodgers. And with this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are 14-14. That is the worst record in the National League West, as they are sitting at 500. They have now lost 3 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 5.5 games behind the division-leading Los Angeles Dodgers at this moment. Taking a look at what happened in San Diego, saying within the NL West, the Padres hosted the Miami Marlins from the NL East. The Marlins would actually shut the Padres out 8-0 off the back of off of the pitching of an amazing pitching performance from Pablo Lopez. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown San Diego Padres saw the loss go to their starting pitcher, Sean Manaea. Sean Manaea would go on to allow 3 earned runs off of 7 hits in the 6 innings he pitched. He struck out 8 batters and then would walk 1 on the day. With this loss, Manaea is now 2-3 on the year. In the Padres batting lineup, nobody on their team would finish with more than 1 hit, as that would be attributed to great pitching from the Marlins. The win would go to the Marlins starting pitcher, Pablo Lopez. He allowed no earned runs off of 5 hits in the 8 innings he pitched. He struck out 5 batters and walked 2. And in this 8-inning stretch, he would pick up his 4th win, and with his win, he's 4-1. In the Marlins batting lineup, their first baseman, Garrett Cooper, would go 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs. Their left fielder, the reigning World Series MVP, Jorge Soler, went 2-for-5 with 4 RBIs and a run, as he hit his 4th home run of the season. And then the Miami Marlins third baseman, Joe Dunand, would end up going 2-for-4 with an RBI and 2 runs. He would hit his first home run of the season. With this win, the Miami Marlins are now 13-14. That is the second best record in the National League East. They've won 4 of their last 10 games, and they are currently sitting 5.5 games behind the division-leading New York Mets. That's where they sit right now. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are now 18-10. That is the second best record in the National League West. They've lost 3 of their last 10 games. They are sitting 1.5 games behind the division-leading LA Dodgers. Both teams have 18 wins, but the Padres just have 3 more losses than the Dodgers do. Taking a look at what happened in Los Angeles, the Angels hosted the Washington Nationals, and in this interleague matchup, the Nationals would beat the Angels 7-3. They would score their 4th run of the game in the 4th inning off of a 2-run single from Michael Franco before the Angels would score all 3 of their runs, making it so the Angels would not be able to get a lead at all. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Angels saw the loss go to their starting pitcher, Michael Lorenzen. Lorenzen allowed 5 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 4.2 innings he pitched. He struck out 7 batters and walked 2. With his loss, Michael Lorenzen is 3-2. In the Angels batting lineup, their first baseman, Jared Walsh, ended up going 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 5th home run of the season. And on the winning end of this matchup, the Washington Nationals saw the win go to their starting pitcher, Josiah Gray. Gray allowed 3 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 5.1 innings he pitched. He struck out 3 batters and then went on to walk 2. With his win, Josiah Gray is now 4-2 on the 2022 season. In the Nationals batting lineup, their first baseman, Josh Bell, went 2-for-4 with an RBI and 3 runs. He went on to hit his 4th home run of the season. And their third baseman, Michael Franco, went 2-for-4 with 3 RBIs. And with this win, the Washington Nationals are now currently 10-19. That is the worst record in the National League East. They have now won 4 of their last 10. They're sitting 9.5 games behind the division-leading New York Mets. And with this loss, the Los Angeles Angels are 18-11. That is still the best record in the American League West. It is the 3rd best record in the American League behind the New York Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. The Angels have lost only 4 of their last 10 as they sit half a game ahead of the second-place Houston Astros. So that's where they sit. Last but not least, in the American League West, the Seattle Mariners hosted the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays were able to beat the Mariners 8-2, as of course the Rays are trying to make a statement within their own division. This game was, of course, won in the first few innings, as the Mariners were not able to get a single run in this game. But the Rays or the Mariners would not really get a chance to take a lead, but the Rays would go on to score 5 runs in the 8th inning, one of them off of a fielder's choice from Randy Arozarena, and then 4 of them off of a grand slam from Manuel Margot. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Seattle Mariners would see the loss go to their starting pitcher, Marco Gonzalez. Marco Gonzalez would allow 3 runs off of 6 hits in the 5.1 innings he pitched. He struck out a batter and walked 4. With this loss, Marco Gonzalez is 1-4, and in the Mariners batting lineup, their second baseman, Adam Frazier, went 2 for 3 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the Tampa Bay Rays saw the win go to their starting pitcher, Drew Rasmussen. Drew Rasmussen allowed 1 earned run off of 5 hits in the 5 innings he pitched. He struck out 5 batters and walked 2. With this win, he's now 3-1. In the Rays batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Wander Franco, went 3 for 5 with 1 run. Their second baseman, Brandon Lau, will go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs as he hit his 4th and 5th home runs of the season. Their right fielder, Manuel Margot's grand slam would be his 2nd home run of the season. And then their center fielder, Kevin Kiermaier, went 2 for 4. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 18-10. That is the 2nd best record in the American League East. That is the 2nd best record in the American League, as a matter of fact. They've won their last 6 games. They are tied with the Houston Astros for the longest active winning streak in the American League, as they are currently holding on to the longest active winning streaks in the major leagues as well. The Rays have now won 8 of their last 10 games. They are sitting a game and a half behind the division-leading New York Yankees at this moment. Both teams have 18 wins, but the Rays just have 3 more losses. Like, it's the same situation as the Dodgers and the Padres, actually. And on the losing end of this matchup, the Seattle Mariners are now 12-16. That is the 3rd best record in the American League West. They have now lost their last 6 games. That is the 2nd longest active losing streak in the American League. Only the Oakland Athletics have a longer active losing streak than the Mariners. The Mariners have lost 9 of their last 10. They are sitting 5.5 games behind the division-leading Los Angeles Angels right now. That's what the MLB is looking like following these matchups and taking a look at what is going on today. The first matchup is going to be on NBC Peacock at 11:35 in this Sox matchup. Michael Wacha and the Boston Red Sox are set to host Dallas Keuchel and the Chicago White Sox. And it looks like outside of that, it looks like the primetime game is going to be at 7 o'clock in Wrigley Field as Marcus Stroman and the Chicago Cubs host the Los Angeles Dodgers, led by their elite starting pitcher Walker Buehler, who was named to the first team All-MLB last year. Walker Buehler enters his matchup with a 3-1 record, holding a 2.12 ERA. Looking at the doubleheaders today, starting off in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Phillies are set to host the New York Mets. In Game 1, Zach Eflin is set to host Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett for the Mets enters his matchup with a 3-2 record, holding a 2.61 ERA. In the second game of this matchup, Kyle Gibson is going to make the start for the Phillies, and the Max Scherzer, the goated starting pitcher for the Mets, is going to make his start. He enters his matchup with a 4-0 record, holding a 2.61 ERA. Looking at the second doubleheader, as this one's going to be in Baltimore, the Orioles are set to host the Kansas City Royals. In their first matchup, Jordan Lyles is going to make the start for the Baltimore Orioles. Zach Greinke is going to start for the Kansas City Royals. In Game 2 of this matchup, Bruce Zimmerman is going to start for the Orioles as Daniel Lynch is going to start for the Kansas City Royals. Looking at the third doubleheader of the day of what it's going to look like, the New York Yankees are set to host the Texas Rangers. In Game 1, they're going to be led by their elite starting pitcher Garrett Cole, as John Gray is going to make the start for the Rangers. Garrett Cole enters his matchup with a 2-0 record, holding an ERA of 3 flat. And then the second game of this matchup will, of course, see Jordan Montgomery and the New York Yankees host Dane Dunning and the Texas Rangers. Looking at the games that aren't on prime times or double headers, we're going to jump out real quickly to Atlanta, as the defending World Series champs are going to host the Milwaukee Brewers in a rematch of the National League Division Series from last year. As Charlie Morton's going to make the start for Atlanta, Aaron Ashby is going to start for Milwaukee. At 1:40, Tyler Mahle and the Cincinnati Reds are going to host Zach Thompson and the Pittsburgh Pirates. At 1:40, Connor Pilkington and the Cleveland Guardians are going to host Alek Manoah and the Toronto Blue Jays. At 2:10, Jake Odorizzi and the Houston Astros are set to host the Detroit Tigers in Minute Maid Park. At 2:10, Chris Paddock and the AL Central leading Minnesota Twins are going to host Dalton Jeffries and the Oakland Athletics, as the A's are currently holding on to the longest active losing streak in baseball right now. At 4:05, Jacob Junis and the San Francisco Giants are set to host Dakota Hudson and the St. Louis Cardinals. And then at 4:07, Patrick Sandoval and the Los Angeles Angels are set to host Eric Fedde and the Washington Nationals. At 4:10, Zach Gallen and the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to host German Marquez and the Colorado Rockies. At 4:10, Joe Musgrove and the San Diego Padres are going to host Trevor Rogers and the Miami Marlins. At the same time, at 4:10, Chris Flexen and the Seattle Mariners are going to host Ryan Yarbrough and the Tampa Bay Rays. And that's pretty much what's going on with baseball as we leave the country momentarily. Taking a look at what happened with soccer yesterday, starting off in the Premier League. The top team that was able to that got its matchup played was Liverpool, as they ended up drawing with Tottenham, as both teams actually needed to win out of this game. The first goal was scored from Son Heung-min, Tottenham's elite forward out of Korea, as he scored in the 56th minute. Liverpool's lone goal was scored in the 74th minute by their Colombian forward Luis Diaz. With this draw, Liverpool now sits even with Man City at the top of the table, as Man City has one game in hand. A win or draw today gives Man City the top of the table. With this draw, Tottenham is currently sitting 1 point below fourth place Arsenal, as Arsenal has one less game played. This is a chance for Arsenal there's a chance for Arsenal to, of course, increase their lead and solidify their Champions League hopes, as this was Tottenham's chance to win, as that fell through their fingers. The next best team that played was the third best team in England, Chelsea, as they ended up drawing with Wolverhampton. Both their goals came from their elite Belgian striker Romelu Lukaku, first of which coming off of a penalty kick. He scored his brace in about 3 minutes. Wolverhampton would tie it up in the 97th minute, as their second goal was eventually scored by Connor Cody in the 97th minute, like I just said. With this draw, Chelsea is still holding the third best record pretty comfortably. They're sitting 4 points ahead of fourth place Arsenal, as Arsenal will not overtake Chelsea immediately with the win. It would move Arsenal into a position to even overtake Chelsea for the best record in London this year. And taking a look at how Manchester United fared, they would end up losing at Brighton and Hove Albion. The first goal scored by Moises Caicedo in the first half. And then Marco Cucurella, Pascal Gross, and Leandro Trossard would score 3 goals in the second half and shut Manchester United out. With this loss, Man U is holding the 6th best record in England, with 1 game left in their schedule, as West Ham can mathematically overtake them for even that last Europa League spot. There is a lot of pressure on Manchester United to, of course, finish their season strong, as it already looks as though the team has given up on the season. Taking a look at what is going on in Spain, the biggest matchup that happened in Spain happened in Real Betis, as the 5th best team in Spain hosted the 2nd best team in Spain, Barcelona. Barcelona would end up beating Betis 2-1, as Barcelona started off with a goal from their elite young Spanish forward Ansu Fati. Betis would see Bartra score 3 minutes later, and then Barcelona's goal from Jordi Alba in the 94th minute would be what they needed to put them through, as they've definitely already clinched Champions League. I guess with this win, they were for sure able to clinch Champions League over 5th place Real Betis. And after a first half in which people were not sure that Barcelona was even going to make it through, they still went on to finish with the 2nd best record in Spain, kind of what they did last year as well. But of course, great finish to this game, and of course, a great finish to this season from Barcelona, as they still have about 3 games left in their schedule. Taking a look at what was going on around Italy now, the big game that happened in Italy was in Torino, as Napoli would pull off a 1-0 win there as they would be the 10th best team in Italy. Their lone goal would come in the 73rd minute from Fabian Ruiz. With this win, Napoli holds the third best record in Italy. With 2 games left, they sit 2 points behind second place Milan, and they sit 4 points ahead of fourth place Juve. They've already clinched that Champions League spot alongside Juve, as with one more win, they should clinch the third best record in all of Italy. Congrats to Napoli. And taking a look at what happened in Germany, the best team that played out in Germany yesterday was their second best team, Borussia Dortmund. Their first goal will come from Julian Brandt, who's actually on the German national team. Their first lone goal came from Jessic Nangam to tie the game up in the 70th minute. Julian Brandt would, of course, finish his brace 2 minutes later to put them up 2-1, and then Felix Pazlak's goal would put Borussia Dortmund up 3-1. And with this win, Borussia Dortmund is holding the second best record in the Bundesliga. They're sitting 3 points behind the Bundesliga leading Bayern, as Bayern already is going to win. Dortmund only has 1 game left in their schedule, and now they sit 5 points ahead of Leverkusen. They have, of course, cemented the runner-up status in Germany. Speaking of Leverkusen would beat Hoffenheim 4-2, as they would see a brace come from Patrick Schick. So that would be a pretty big goal, pretty big game for Leverkusen. With this win, Leverkusen has, of course, officially submitted, or they are officially into Champions League if they weren't already in before this. And then Freiburg would end up getting beat by Union Berlin to make the 4, 5, and 6 seeds, only separated by about 1 point with 1 game left, as RB Leipzig actually has a chance to jump Freiburg. Union Berlin would see their goals come from Grisha Promel, Christopher Trimmel, and Geraldo Becker in the first half, before Lucas Höhler would get Freiburg's only goal in the second half. And then, of course, Union would end it off with a goal from Andras Schäfer. So that would be how Union Berlin would find themselves up there. But right now, Union Berlin is holding the 6th best record, 1 point behind 4th place Freiburg, to show you how close that is. And that is that's what soccer's looking like from yesterday. Taking a look at what's going on today, going through that exact same path through Europe. Starting off on the British Isles, the top team that's going to be playing today is Manchester City, as they host Newcastle United. They are tied at the top of the table with Liverpool, with 1 less game played, meaning that if they draw or win, Manchester City retains the top of the Premier League. This is an opportunity for them to give them a full game of cushion over Liverpool, as Newcastle United enters this matchup holding the 13th best record in England right now. And then looking at Arsenal's holding the 4th best record in England. This is an opportunity for them to create space between them and Tottenham, as they sit only 1 point ahead of Tottenham. They are going to host Leeds United, as Leeds holds the 4th worst record in England. This is an opportunity for Arsenal to, of course, lock up some champions, or at least to further solidify their Champions League hopes. And I think a game of separation could be all they need, but this is their opportunity right here. It's this game right here. Taking a look at what's going on in Spain, we're going to see a Madrid derby, as Atletico Madrid is going to host Real Madrid at 3 o'clock. Atletico Madrid holds the 4th best record in Spain. With 1 less game played than Real Betis, they still have a 1-game cushion, so even if they lose, it's not the end of the world, as they should be holding on to that Champions League spot. Real Madrid, on the other hand, has already won La Liga, and I'm not sure if they have that much to play for, but of course they're still, playing to dominate their league. So of course I understand that. They sit 12 points out of second place Barcelona, as they've already won La Liga, captured that title, but Atletico Madrid has a lot more to play for. But of course, who doesn't want to ruin your crosstown rivals' season and Champions League hopes? The 3rd best team in Spain, Sevilla, is going to be facing off against Villarreal at 10:15. Sevilla is currently sitting 5 points behind second place Barca, as they are still trying to go at least for that second spot. They are sitting 8 points ahead of Real Betis. A win here could very well could do a lot to help Sevilla get a lot closer to clinching a Champions League spot. And Villarreal is holding the 8th best record in Spain. They are sitting 4 points behind 6th place Real Sociedad and 9 points behind 4th place Atletico. as Villarreal, having lost Champions League, have pretty much lost their way back into Champions League next season. They have a good chance of even making Europe. They're still alive for that. Taking a look at what is happening in France now, the top team in France, PSG, is going to host Troyes. PSG, I believe, has already won Ligue 1 for the season, as they sit 14 points ahead of second place Monaco. Their opponent, Troyes, holds the 14th best record in the country. So this is an opportunity, of course, for PSG to put on a show for the fans. Their third best team in the country, Marseille, is set to face off against Lorient. Lorient enters this matchup as Lorient is entering this particular matchup as the 16th best team in France. But Marseille, with a win here, would advance ahead of Monaco into that second spot in France. So, of course, Marseille actually has a lot to play for today within what's going on today there. Taking a look at what is going on in Italy, the big matchup there is going to be AC Milan going to Hellas Verona at 2:45. With a win here, AC Milan would overtake Inter Milan for that top spot, as they sit only 1 point behind Inter. With a draw, Inter also holds the lead. So if AC Milan wants the lead, they have to beat Hellas Verona straight up. Hellas Verona enters this matchup as they are right now holding the 9th best record in Italy, and anything could happen. Taking a look now at what is going on in Germany, the Bundesliga champs for this year, Bayern Munich, are going to host VfB Stuttgart at 11:30. Bayern Munich enters this matchup having already won the title, as we might see other players get their chance. They have 2 more games left in the season. Stuttgart enters this season as they are actually facing relegation, so Stuttgart actually has something to play for. And then RB Leipzig is currently going to host Augsburg at 1:30. RB Leipzig is holding the 5th best record in the Bundesliga, as Freiburg actually ended up losing. That actually opened up the door for RB Leipzig to possibly jump them with 2 games left in their schedule. With a draw or a win, RB Leipzig would hold on to that 4th spot with Freiburg going into the final matchup. The only thing that RB Leipzig cannot do today is lose if they definitely want that Champions League entrance right back, because that opportunity is open, the window is open. But with that said, that is everything that I have for you with soccer, as today is Sunday, May 8th, 2022. I want to thank everyone once again for listening to all 66 minutes of this piece. I want to thank the ESPN, the NBA, NHL, MLB, and FIFA sites for giving me all the facts and figures I needed. Once everything is done today, I will come back with more episodes. So until then, I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with more tomorrow. Peace out. Thanks for listening to my piece. I'm James Sims, and this is The Elite.